We welcome Mr. Nanda and invite you to make your presentation. Mr. Nanda, floor is yours.
Okay. Okay.
Minglaba to all of you. I am Nanda Sitt Aung. Since we have a limited time, I will try to be brief and short as much as I can. The topic is about doing business in Myanmar. Well, since we're talking about business, one must realize that where Myanmar business comes from. The short answer is that from the military. In 1988, we have the public uprising. And after busting this public uprising in 1988, the military took over the whole country and started doing all the businesses in the country, meaning that management of all the natural resources are included in their business, the way that they do business since at that time. So monopolizing the Myanmar economy, it's clearly the military regime. All the sectoral improvement was observed in the past as well, namely construction, wood sector, and as well as garment sector in the country. After all this time and after all this slight transformation and transition, the minimum wage in Myanmar reached barely to $3 per day. After coup, this slight achievement completely was gone, basically. And the whole public joined in the civil disobedient movement while we are facing all the financial hardship. The whole economy landscape in the country got deteriorated. Only survived economy in the country at this moment is their business and their related business. In short, doing business in Myanmar is not easy. The most difficulty in doing business in Myanmar is that the whole business is being monopolized in terms of the way, in terms of the how, in terms of the functions. Everything is all being controlled by the military and their community. We are now having the Spring Revolution. The Spring Revolution promotes the civil disobedient momentum, resulting all the extrajudiciary arrests. So basically, the civil disobedient movement initially was driven by the public sector, and it has been escalated up to the public civil disobedient to the whole regime. Public are now not paying tax. Publics are now trying to get their own money out of their bank saving. So basically, this is to say that the whole Myanmar economy is being boycotted by everyone in the country. Of course, it has its own reverse effect, meaning that the military regime increase their violent action against the public. So now the need of this country is to get rid of the military dictatorship and to develop a federal democratic country. It is not even a single goal movement that we are talking about. The movement that we are now is having the multiple goals. Amidst of all this, economic hardship. As far as the statistics that I have in my hand, over 1,000 of workers and their families has been killed, and thousands of workers and unionists are being arrested, and numerous numbers of workers are facing the very intimidating situation. Loss of job, it's very common these days. Blacklisting, it's towards all the trade unions basically. So one can imagine what would be the direction of economy and businesses amidst this particular landscape. No easy landscape for the economy to do business in Myanmar is the only illustration that I could think of. Of course, the military regime wants to have economy in the country for their own benefit. The investment of businesses in Myanmar would end up only the money that it's stained with the blood of Myanmar people, if it would be such case. The investment of businesses in Myanmar is a mean for the regime to buy bullets and arms to kill its own people. So, doing business in Myanmar, it's a risk of Myanmar to have blood stained everywhere. Talking about brand of course has their own particular challenges in doing business in Myanmar. I would like to think that brand is the reputable brand if I would have to wear one. And I guess that no one wants to wear a brand that make blood stain here and there in the country. And the profit that they earn from Myanmar is the money that is made by the blood, I would say. At this moment, to be frank, I'm not sure that we have a concrete solidarity and support from international level in that perspective. And of course, we know that different countries has their own different standing points and with their own different agenda. And in order to protect their own interest and in order to ignore the situations in Myanmar, it is a common saying that the government of a country will say that we don't intervene with other countries' sovereignty. I would just say that if it would be such kind of justification to ignore the situations in Myanmar, it is just a total failure of humanity in the world. So that kind of negligent made our young generation in the country to take arms in order to combat or in order to get rid of the military regime. Of course, military regime has to be stopped and has to be get rid of in order to thrive all the basic rights and democracy in the country. If one asks me what we need, we don't need trade, we don't need business, we don't need economy as a support at this moment. In this hardship of suppression by the military dictatorship, impact of COVID. What we need is that we need to get rid of the military regime. We need to have democracy being restored in the country. But how? By having our elected government and supported government
Yeah.
recognized, so that the implementations of a right, the implementations of our vision, the implementations of building the new nation would then be assured. Otherwise, the opposite result would be that the regime will boost itself or take a position that they are being recognized by all this big country in the world. If the countries in the world would not stand bold and condemning and saying that they don't recognize the regime.
Yeah. Maybe you want to
What we're
conclude, brother,
facing
now?
is that in
Yeah.
Myanmar, the problem of Myanmar is a problem of humanity, not our own country problem, I would say. But the military, it's having their ideology from the old time. So they really need to know that the world that we have now is the modern world, that it's completely changed from the time that they took power in the past. So in short, I just would like to call all the support from all our international community in order to end up once and for all the experience that we are having now in the country. Thank you.